Hey everyone, welcome back to the Hidden Brick, where today we're doing part 1 of the build of the enormous LEGO Technic front loader set. So this is a fully remote controlled power function set. You can see highlights all the stuff that comes with it. It's 2 remote controls, a battery box, a large motor, extra large motor, servo motor, medium motor, and then 2 IR receivers. So a ton of power function elements along with this enormous set. So you can see it's got this big flip open lid here, but we're not here to review the set, we're here to build it. So let's go ahead and break the seal. See, the parts have kind of settled in there. They're all kind of, I don't know if you can really see it. They're all kind of, this is all air up here. So it's an enormous box, but the parts have all kind of settled down to the bottom. Dump them out. Oh my goodness, that is large. So the first thing that you notice, or that I notice, is this enormous bucket. I mean, I can't even really fit it in one hand. It's so big. It's as big as my hand. It's huge. And then the enormous tires. So those are all loose in the box. They're not in any bags. And then the wheels are also loose in the box. No bags. So the other thing that's interesting is we have little bags of each one of the, here, let me do this. There we go. So we have little bags of each one of the power function elements, and then a bag here that has some more in it. So all those are separate. We have a huge instruction book, one book, and then a big sticker sheet in there too. And the bags are not numbered, so I'm going to sort these pieces, that way it's easier for us to build it. Alright, so I have all of the parts sorted. You can see there's a ton of parts, and I've sorted them by part type, so it's easy to find. That's probably the best way to do it as far as I know. If you just dump them all in one pile, it's going to be a mess. I did go ahead and pull some of my bins that had some of these smaller Technic elements in it. So obviously the set didn't come with that many, but I just combined them in there, the ones that came in this set. That way they don't roll all over the desk. So let's go ahead and set the camera up and get this started. Alright, so I have already put the batteries in the power function elements, but the first part of the instructions basically tell us to attach the servo motor to this IR receiver, and this is the servo motor. You can tell by the way it's kind of this oval shape. And then we connect the IR receiver to the battery box. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the battery box on, and this little cross right here in the servo motor is supposed to be lined up. And right now it already is, but it's just in case it came in the box not lined up. So you turn the battery box on and it moves. So I'm going to turn it the other way and you'll kind of see it slightly move. You may not see it or hear it, but it's moving. So that's the first step. It's basically saying to center the servo motor. So we've got that done. Take those off, put that to the side. That was basically the first step. So now we're going to begin the build of the loader. There's going to be a lot of Technic pins. I was surprised how few axles there were. There's more pins than there are axles. And these are the axles. There, of course, is a ton of beams. Pull all these red ones over. I think I'm going to need them all for this step. Alright. So we're already beginning a little gearbox. Another one of these. Basically creating the same little element. Okay, so that lines up right on top of that one. We have a bushing and a little gear selector thing. Alright. So this, let's see. Shows it going in like that with 4 of these. Okay, I see. So these pins are going to hold it in place. There we go. So that's holding it in place. Next up, the 8-long axle. So you have to be real careful when you're building this to make sure that you rotate the little model that you're building, or the module, each time it tells you in the instructions, because it just told me to turn this over. If you don't do that, it could mess it up. Alright, so we have a little turntable here, and this is the way it comes in the box, disassembled. And you basically snap the two pieces together. Once they're snapped together, they're never coming apart again. So, I mean, there's no way to mess it up. It only goes on one way. Alright, so we turn the model back over. Push that through there. You can see it fits all the way in there just fine. Push this through here. bolts the turntable together. So that's not going anywhere. Alright, next up is another frame element. Oops. Alright, we have the second module built now, and we connect it to this other one, and we put a black gear in here. Just like the other side, we use these to connect everything together. There we go. So you can see it's created this kind of independent suspension element. Next up is a differential. These and two of these guys. So we begin by putting a little gear right there. Two more there. Line this up right in here. You have to be careful to put it in the right way. There is a wrong way to put it in. And basically if you put it in the wrong way, when you go to put the wheels and tires on, they'll actually won't turn because they're both going opposite directions. You have to make sure you put it in the right way. The instructions shows a good diagram to make sure that you get it in the right way. So shouldn't have to worry about that, as long as you follow the instructions. Couple of these, and these half bushings. And two half bushings have more clutch power than one full bushing. So if you want an axle to stay put, it's better to use two of these half bushings versus one of these full length one. You can see they're the same depth, but it has less clutch power. So these yellow ones will hold it on a lot better. Okay. Alright, now we have the wheel hubs. So Let me pull all the elements that are required for this step. So similar to the turntable, this element here, once you push it in, there's no getting it back out. So we'll push that in. And then we have a large gear. It slides all the way through there. And it should go in. There it goes. Carefully lining this up. Push that in there. Alright, so that's the first one. Let's do the second one. So it's basically the same process. Over here, it's basically you have to push this axle in while dropping a gear in there to where it lines up. There we go. Alright, so that hit it just right. Same thing on the other side. So what I'm going to do is actually slide the gear in, and it's not going to be attached to anything until I slide that axle through. And you can see it'll grab that gear. Very good. Make sure that stays upward. Those pieces will help hold it all together. So these little half lift arms, if you build them straight on a table like this, you can get them down on those axles a lot easier. And then the axles don't slide through the back of the lift arm. So these go on this side. So that thing is not going anywhere. It is on there nice and tight. Alright, we need a 9 long beam. That is not 9. Go over here. Four of these. 4. pins and these. So it's best you pull all the parts you need for each step when you build these pretty large complex models. They do a pretty good job of telling you which parts you need, and if you accidentally forget one, it can come back to bite you if you miss a part or two. Alright, these two. Go like that. We've got 4 more. These. Turn this over, and those 4 that we put on the top side, we're basically sandwiching these in between them, or I guess on the other side. That makes a really clean, sturdy model. So we're going to keep it oriented the way in the instructions, so keep it turned over. Alright, next parts. Two, 1. Kind of interesting. Some of the fun parts of building Technic models is discovering or realizing what they're building. It's like, because you build from the inside out, so sometimes you don't know exactly what it is that's being built until you get a little bit later down and you're like, oh, that's what that was for. Because a lot of times it doesn't make sense what you're building until you get further along. We're building 2 of these same elements. So we have one of these little U-joints. We're going to turn this over, attach it right there. This is basically the midpoint of the front loader where it's going to steer. Connects to the U-joint. So you can see how it's turning the wheels back there. And this will be connected to the little fake engine that we'll get to. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and stop this video here. We've got a long way to go, but you can see it's already kind of coming together. We have some rear wheels, and then we'll have the little engine part connected there. We've already got our center point of turning area, so it's going to be a cool set. So make sure to stick around and check out all the other videos of this build. This is really fun, especially if you're into Technic. It's cool stuff. So thanks again, and we'll see you in part 2.